welcome back to Live Studio Shell Shading, and this gonna be the coloring part. That was a bit bad intro. Anyway, so while I was offline, I was just completed the line work, and also what I did is, let me quickly show you what I just done. I started to started to line out where the shadow is going to be. So using the what's the thing called, the what's it, subcolor? Yeah, the subcoloring layer. I was able to sort of create different layers for example, if I wanted to would be a good one, like for a hair. The great thing with having subcolor layer is that or color layer is normally above the layer tool. It's sort of called layer effects. It's around here. You can see where the cursor is sort of pointing to. And what I do normally, let's say a good spot, I normally just draw around where I want the colours to sort of form. And this is very handy because right now I'm actually colouring my character. So I'm using the layer colours, and I created about 4 layers. So different ones for the hair. So the purple lines are for the hair, the pink is for the her face or skin. Yeah, mainly skin. And the darker one, quite faint, but it's around underneath her chin. It's going to be a darker shadow, and so forth. Like she's wearing some sort of transparent see-through sleeve, so that'll be coloured in soon. So in effect, like where was I? Oh yeah, skin. So in effect, for her skin, you can pick out the fill tool and refer other layers, and you can use that. I have to be on the layer. It's just why it's important to actually put them in sections. Like I color code them and also write the names of them so I know where I'm at. So I can individually. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right actually. Right, there you go. I can individually color them in, and then you can go back to that layer, the line layer or the sub layer, and just sort of mask it, like like, I don't know what it's called technically, but you can just unmask it so it doesn't, the lines don't show. It's actually quite nice. It's actually quite nice. I quite like that that skin tone. But sometimes yeah, that's quite nice. That's quite a nice effect. Actually, that sort of brings out the character more. You know what? Go back to that. So I'm going to continue on from like that. So I quite like this here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just delete this layer. Oops. Delete it. Why is the... Oh, I know what happened. Right. The clover's not showing. There you go. Right, so I want to delete shadow. And I set the shadow to that's clothing. Oh, this is why. Right, there's the shadow. Right, so I create a new layer. Call it shading. Right, I'm on the fill tool. I'm on refer other layers. Got to use that same color. So yeah, this is how I'm going to do it. So just easily fill the within the areas. Oops. This is very handy and quick. It actually makes work very fast and quick. So you don't have the hassle of trying to do them individually. You know, by sort of doing them consistently. Like if you're drawing them in, like from straight out, from just using the brush and that, you don't really need to do that. You can just quickly fill that in. Oh, what do I have? Oh, I see. It's quite a nice tone actually. I'm beginning to learn that sometimes it's actually good to have a sort of warm pinkish tones for certain areas. I'm just gonna rub that out. I'm not too sure about this area. That's alright. Just fill in the last areas that need to be filled. Then I'm gonna click on paint unfilled areas. So this is quite handy because you can fill in these niggling areas, like, you know, that's not filled in, like really small areas, that really small unfulfilled areas. And the lined marking, the lined shadows sort of help it make sure that it's filled in properly. So the fill tool is really cool in this software. I think it really allows you to fill in areas very fast. So for techniques like for doing like kind of shell shading work for animation and stuff, it's really handy, very handy indeed. So I'm trying to just fill that areas in. And if you made a mistake or you change your mind, you can actually go back into it, and that's what the line, and that's why I do this sort of, you know, sort of drawing out where the shadow is going to be, where, you know, underneath her skin and all that, and where the clothing. It's actually, you know, it's actually a really cool fit because it makes things really look, you know, anime-like. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice tone. I like that. I really like that. You can just close that. There you go. That looks really nice. That looks really nice. Actually, I might use the rubber tool just there you go. Give it that nice shading. You can use the eraser tool just to draw back some. You know, if you feel like you don't want to, if you feel like you wanted to sort of draw back some lines or make lines a little bit more neater, you can do that. Like here, there you go. That's neat now. That looks much more neater. Neat, very neat. Like here, around her, underneath her chin. That's gonna. Wow, wait a minute. What? Oh, thinking about working with. Yeah, gotta make sure that. There you go. You can use a blend tool to blend out the lines, but sometimes it's good to use a a eraser tool just to, if it's on sharp as well, a sharp eraser tool, just to draw back some lines so that it looks much more sharper, like here. You don't really need a display tablet. You could do this easily using just a normal tablet. It actually makes things much more faster as well, so that you don't have to, because a lot of times I feel a lot of strain when I use my tablets, and when I when I discover this kind of way of drawing and colouring, it makes things so much easier. That's better, that's more nicer. But it does help to have a display tablet, but you know, this will make the job much more faster. Especially if you're doing multiples of artworks. You can, right. Lovely. That's a really nice tone. I really like it. That's a nice tone. You can actually download these preset palettes around here. Yeah, around here basically. I'll try to enlarge it so I can show you how big they are. Oh, okay. Well, the cool thing about Tip Studio is that you've got these kind of palette, Schwartz palettes that you can use for, you know, just to have a set palette, so you don't have to constantly like put them on the actual painting or on layer and keep eyedropping them. So that's quite cool. So yeah, these are my palettes. Very small, not a lot. Because I don't think it's necessary to have a lot of palettes, because it's not that kind of artwork, to be honest. Yeah, it's not that kind of it's more like a shell shading, and shell shading is more like a set of colours, not like, you know, you're trying to smooth out and pick out the different shades of colours. You can just if you want to have like different kinds of shades, you can actually use the layers for that. You don't necessarily need to use yeah, you don't really need sort of like to constantly pick out the colours, basically. That's what I'm trying to say, yeah. So I'll do a crease here. Her eyes. It's actually looking lovely. So yeah, download the presets. It's really helpful, because I'm not very good with skin tone, so it's really hard to master sometimes. So when you got that kind of presetted, you can create your own palettes, and then it's more faster that way. So when you have them all set and saved, you can do that easy by clicking on that sort of like this screw thing. But basically click on this where the arrow is, and you can create new settings. So you could say grey or pink tones. Say OK, and then you can just pick out any colour, and where this thing says add palette next to that trash, you add the palette, and then there you go. You can just add black if you want to. You can add a bit of red. Make sure you click on it's set on the actual red, because normally when you click on actual white spaces, it will just it all goes on, it just click automatic transparent, so you don't add the color. So you must make sure the color is added. So let's go back to amethyst. Let's go back to that color palette. Yeah, so it's actually more straightforward doing this way. So right now I'm using my watercolor brush, and I'm just smoothing out the lines. Just smoothing it out. Oops, what did I do? Oh. I got a feeling that should be a little bit. That's better. Smoothing it out. Right. The watercolor brush is actually quite a nice brush because it kind of smooths out the. It's not like it blends in quite nicely with the layer above, below. So it's so the amount, so the type of pressure you put on the actual. It's a nice smooth application. Yeah, it's also very important to make sure that they are clipped to the layer below. So for example, I'm on the skin layer, so I created skin and I just did a flat color, and then above it I created the shading layer, and that's clipped on to the skin layer, so it doesn't overlap into the white surface, so it's much more clean and smoother. That looks nice. She looks like looks really nice. Yeah, it looks really nice. I mean, I'm going to add some blend. I just want to blend out. Now there's different types of blend in Clip Studio. There's like the one that blends the two colors together, and there's blur. Blur tool is kind of like if you want to sort of make certain areas on focus. But I like using the blend tool. But be careful using blend tool. Just sort of apply it on the same direction. Don't go too wild with the blend tool. See here, I've kind of overdid it. Just want to go back and sort of. I think let me lower the opacity. So I'm just doing one stroke there and one stroke here. Don't stroke on the same area. Move on to the sort of move on downwards so that it completely blends in, and then maybe even go back to that area a little bit just to do one more stroke. But don't overdo it though. That's what I'm trying to say to myself. Don't overdo it. You can use the blur tool just to make it unfocused. So I'm just gonna make that a little bit unfocused. There you go. It makes the jagged lines a little bit more smoother. So it's not too, especially on the lips area. I want to make that more smoother. That's nice. I don't mind some areas blended in. Actually, maybe just leave it. What I could do is use a fingertip and just sort of drag that. But the fingertip one is more like it's pulling that colour, so it pulls it a bit. That's nice, yeah, that's more neater now. That's really nice. Oops, oh yeah, you can rotate it. Yeah, that's really nice. So I'll move on to the shadow area. I'm just going to try something. So I'm using airbrush and oh, I was already on it, okay. And again, this is on multiple layers. I use multiple layers a lot as sort of to make the colours a bit more darker on that layer, so that it's more easier for things like shading and creating shadows. So I'm using the airbrush. I'm just airbrushing certain areas. I'm going to use the highlight, and using the soft tool I'm going to draw the tool a little bigger. I'm just going to lightly airbrush with the light sources. Start with her hands. Make this a little bit larger. It's going to make this area a little bit more large. Yeah, that's fine. Be careful how you use light sources, but light highlights. It can be quite tricky sometimes. Right, I'm going to use a hard yeah, I'm going to use the hard airbrush. The hard airbrush acts like a brush, but it can be quite useful for things like highlights. Just go rotate that a little bit so I can get it nice. Take advantage of using the rotation tool, because it really does help when it comes to especially in line work. So if there's certain areas you find very difficult to sort of draw or colour in, you can just rotate it. So take advantage of using that. Next I'm going to do some backlighting. That's nice. It takes a while to understand shading, to be honest. It took me years, because you realise that there's a lot of hidden shades of light everywhere, and it's hard to master, especially when it comes to colouring in. You know, I'm not going to do that over here. And you realise that it's very minute. It's not a lot. It's not a lot to do. It's very minute. A lot of people tend to overshadow everything, I notice, because they think that that's the way it is, but a little goes a long way. I'm just gonna do a layer correction. Maybe not. That's fine. Right, I'm gonna be using some overlayer. The overlayer adds like a very thin sort of transparent blend mode. I think that's what it's technically used for. No, I'm going to use this colour. Sometimes you got to be careful what kind of colour you want to. You know what, maybe it should be slightly darker. Yeah. It can be a different colour if you want. You might not. You might think, you know what, I'm going to use blue or green. But I want to make the colours a little bit more sort of vibrant. So yeah, I've done sort of done her skin for now. So we'll move on to her clothing. Save that. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break, and yeah, it's looking really nice. So the skin tone is done. I might go back into it a little bit, but I actually want to move on to the clothing and also her hair. There you go. Here's her hair. Her hair is sort of like purple, so I've got a lot to work on her hair, to be honest. Her hair is going to be most detailed work. So yeah, so I'm going to take a break now. It's been over for 30 minutes, and yeah, just to give you an idea of how I do the skin colouring, or maybe colouring in general. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to show you more. If not, then you know, it will. I will actually put them all together to create some sort of speed painting. Yeah, speed painting video so that you can see the whole transition from start to finish. Yeah, it's looking really nice. I might need to work on the highlights a little bit, but it might feel a little bit more wonky. I'm not too sure about this. You know, so just 1 minute. I'm just gonna just sort out this hair. It just didn't look right. Right. I'll just draw it back a little bit. There you go. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's more nicer now. You see, this thing, like, once it all comes together, you realise that, oh, you know what, that's too sharp, or that's too much. It does take a while. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, that's more neat now. Okay, that's more better. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.